for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s from around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host, and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome everyone to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show, episode 1010, the Falcon edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. So please grab a desired scent or beverage of your choice, put your seatbelt on, put your tray table up, put your seat in upright position, keep your arms, legs, and hands inside the podcast at all times. And what can I tell you? It can't get any worse, right? 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 Oh, we can only hope. This is our posse for this evening for this episode. First, we have Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Fantastic. What is the fever pitch over in Seattle? Is it about Mariners baseball?
Well, the Mariners have actually gone on a bit of a skid this past week too. Uh-oh. So it's go Kraken, I guess. Preseason.
Run out of options, people. All right. Someone who never runs out of options. Back for merry old England is Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Matt, it's been too long, my friend. How's everybody dealing with the situation over there?
It has been a rough 15 days over here. The amount of work, not just the situation itself, but also the amount of work that has to go into the death of a sovereign and the replacement and everything else. From a government perspective, it is a lot of work, and it's been an interesting time. I actually had some messages that I saw from some Americans from the New York Times who said that, you know, old Britain being all old and traditional, it's about time we got rid of the monarchy and threw it all away and did away with it all. And I just have to say, Dennis, I thought that was a bit rich coming from a country who still hasn't mastered the metric system and thinks the best way to stop gun deaths is to try and channel what Thomas Jefferson might have thought.
Sending thoughts and prayers is always working, right?
I've never had so many thoughts and prayers in our life, but no, it was interesting, and it was. Thank you for not allowing me to be here last. I was still managed to squeeze, even as I left the hall where Her Majesty was laying in state. I still managed to just send through my predictions, my game board, and my prognostication. As soon as I came out of Westminster Hall, I was like, "Oh shit, next priority! I must."
See, Queen, I got predictions for the show. I'm sorry.
Us queens stick together, you know what I mean?
I applied for that job, but I didn't get a second interview, so I don't know why. I'm not the king, but
well, I mean, being American's a bit of a problem.
I guess that'd be we'll start there.
Worked for King Ralph
and
That's
Burger
a great
King
film. That is
and
a
Burger
great
King
film.
Also. Someone who's the king of this house is my son there, Little Mo. Hi, Little Mo.
Hi. And the queen of this house is this one right here.
Yes, that's Abby. A big sweetie, Abby. That's our dog, Abby. We were talking before we came on how when Little Mo and I are watching the games in the living room, when she seems to come in, good things happen. So we're going to try to keep her in the living room during the Falcon game this Sunday the whole time. And if they win and she's in the room, we might have to get a GoFundMe to get her shipped out to Seattle or something.
We could assume that she only entered that room once last night.
She slept all last Sunday, I think, in another room. Yeah, as we all did. But so before we move on and talk about that game, and we really don't want to, but we have to, we want to tell you how this show is going to be run. So here's a look at the format. Yes, episode 1010 is 4 quarters and a halftime, just like a real NFL game. Of course, the first quarter will catch up us. No, he won't catch us up. Don't catch up us. Catch us up on the news around the NFL, if you mustard. Second quarter, we will talk about that game between the Seahawks and the 49ers and do our prediction posse prediction challenge. Wow. I'm going with it. I don't care. No one's watching anyway. At halftime, it is the best Seahawk themed trivia game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
of the world.
Line of the world. Last week's winner was not Little Mo. Who was last week's winner? Was it Dustin? No, it was Will. Will. Will won last week, so he'll be.
As if you don't watch the show, Dennis.
I did. Now, who watches this? The second half, we talk about the Falcon game. We'll give you predictions. We'll give you injury report. We'll give you some fashion, some weather, and even a sermon of Seahawk positivity. We'll put all that together, mix it all up. In the fourth quarter, we give you our predictions, game balls, and prognostications for that game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:25 out in the West Coast, and in England, probably 1975. We don't know.
It's 9:25, but yeah.
9:25. But before we do all that, we got to get to the first quarter, and let's go to the news. Yes, news from around the NFL. It is our own news hound, Shadowhawk Will, with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, you could call this the golden age of conspiracy theories. And they certainly haven't been, the sports world has not been immune from them. And there was one making the rounds this past week revolving around the suspension of Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans. If you saw last week's Bucs game, Evans came off the field and plastered Marshawn Lattimore, and those two went at it. It was quite amusing, actually.
It was.
But anyway, the initial decision, which was later upheld, to suspend Evans one game was made by former NFL player John Runyon. However, John Runyon Jr. plays for the Packers. The Packers are playing the Buccaneers this Sunday.
Oh!
People were wondering, could there be a connection? Quote, he was just doing his job, Runyon Jr. said via Rob Domofsky of ESPN.com. He's been doing that job for over half a decade now. It just so happens we're playing the Buccaneers this week. Everyone's trying to make this a conspiracy theory, which it's not. So,
Lattimore did not, right?
I don't know if Lattimore did or did not, but Evans did come back onto the field to hit him. So it's not as if he didn't do something worthy of punishment, but conspiracy, that's for the viewers to decide.
Interesting. Little Mo, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw the beginning of that, but if you guys know, Bruce Arians was on the sidelines, and apparently people, I don't know if this is true, but read his lips and said, "Go protect Tom."
Whoa!
Because he was the one that started the situation.
Dang!
And so that's when he turned around and came and hit Marshawn Lattimore. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people are saying.
Wow.
Arians did get a stern talking to from the league from being out there. So
yeah.
He's not even like part of the team anymore, right? I mean, he's just like
he's a consultant of some sort, but apparently if you're not a coach or a player, they want you to stay off that white section of sidelines, so you're not supposed to even get near the field.
Interesting. Matt, do you believe in the conspiracies?
No. See, the thing is I would, if it had been a really sort of ticky-tack kind of penalty or some sort of, if there was something really pointless that had happened. I mean, it was still probably pointless, but it's quite obvious that he re-entered the field and lumped a guy. So he was always going to get some form of punishment. I mean, it might be maybe a fine, maybe whatever, maybe both. But ultimately, it was always coming down the track. So this isn't a conspiracy for me. But I do kind of take the point that you make about that Will makes about keeping non-players and non-coaches away from the field. I think that there are still, even to this day, far too many people wandering around on them sidelines that do not need to be there. And I still think that with the technology that exists today, there's too many opportunities for teams, Patriots, at finding ways of using some of those guys in order to cheat and to do things which probably shouldn't be part of the game. But it's the way the NFL likes to run, isn't it? But no, I don't believe in conspiracy theories.
You have a conspiracy theory about Aaron Rodgers. Would you like to share that before we move on?
I don't know what you mean. I mean, it in of itself, I think, has he got a lovely new beard? Have you seen the new pictures?
I have not seen his new
beard.
That
elf chick, Blue of Earth, I think she calls herself.
I was talking about facial hair. I don't know what you were talking about, Will. I was never going down that route. No idea.
Of course.
No idea what you were talking about.
No idea what that meant. No.
And if any lawyers in America want to take action against Will, you can get his address from the YouTube site.
Yeah. Exactly. 12manfanjamshow.com. Will, what else you got for us?
Well, moving on from my pending litigation here. Eagles rookie punt returner Britton Covey had another. Yeah, I figured you'd like that.
Good name.
He had kind of an interesting trip into the Eagles Monday night game this past week. He was actually he'd been called up from the practice squad that day, and when he arrived at the stadium, he was denied access to the players' parking lot. Since he was just promoted, he didn't have the correct parking pass, and since he was a practice squad guy, the parking attendants didn't recognize him.
Oh no!
And he tried to tell him, "Hey, I'm on the active roster. I'm a return guy." They're like, "Look, we're sorry, you don't have the pass. You can't park here." Covey, to his credit, didn't make a big stink out of it and just said, "Okay, well, where does everybody else park?" So he parked at a different section of the lot. Had to ask tailgaters where to go to get to the players' entrance of the stadium, and fans were like, "Hey, aren't you?" So he's walking tailgaters, posing for pictures.
Nice.
And just
awesome.
having a good old time. And he said he may turn that into a tradition by parking in the fan lot from now on.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm not that far removed from being that 13-year-old at a tailgate throwing a football, and it inspires me to just remember where I come from.
Nice. Good for him. What a cool story. I hope that happens.
Yeah, I'm rooting for this guy now. He seems like a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Little Mo and I met the team at the Colts game back then when they won the Super Bowl. Yeah, in 2013. We didn't know where we were going either. We actually led KJ Wright's family down to where all the players are getting on the buses and stuff. So that could be very confusing. I agree. That's pretty cool. And by the way, once again, if you want to write Will, it is Will, 12-man fan jam show at gmail.com. Just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, it's a cool little story.
Piss off.
See, now I love. Now his name's Britton. He loves tradition. He obviously wants to start tradition. This boy is destined to go to great things. However,
if only he was tight end.
Yes. What's his position? He's a kick return. Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this tradition will only work providing he's a good kick returner. Because if you're rubbish, the last thing you want to do is park next to a load of fans,
right?
Go through the tailgate and have a load of fans explain to you why you're crap with your job in Philadelphia.
They're such understanding fans. I'm sure there'll be no problem.
So he's gonna want to make sure his game is always on point if he's gonna have this sort of tradition.
True. No B. Walters experience here.
No.
Hey, he at least never fumbled a single kick.
He never did, but he didn't do much other. All right. That being said, Will, thank you for the news.
Anytime, Moses.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
All right, we have so much more coming up. We're going to talk about the Falcons game. We're going to have a sermon of Seahawk positivity. We're going to play trivia. Before we do that, though, we have to talk about last week's loss against the 49ers. We'll make it as brief and painless as possible. We'll do that right after this, I guess.
Much better offense.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Yes, welcome to the second quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, Falcon edition. But before we get a Falcon edition, we have to talk about last week's loss to the 49ers in San Francisco, 27-7. The Seahawks fall. Will, I know what we all think of this game, but is there anything positive that we can get out of this game at all?
Well, Tariq Woolen is looking like a real steal. I mean,
yes.
He's playing really well on defense. Of course, it takes a lot of work to block a kick from the edge. I mean, you got to be really fast. You got to time it absolutely perfectly, and that could have been the spark that lit the comeback. Unfortunately, it was not.
It could have.
The rough thing for me so far this year has been two young players that we were really counting on to step up, and they haven't really done it yet. And I'm talking about Darrell Taylor and Jordan Brooks. Taylor just hasn't been doing much in the passing game. He's been a liability in the run game. Brooks has caught himself out of position on a lot of plays. these are guys we need to step up, and it's a new system for them. They're still learning, and I think they will get better. But that's been the roughest part for me. Is just because these are guys we're counting on. I mean, we let Bobby Wagner go because we had Jordan Brooks waiting on the wing.
Yes, we
had Darrell Taylor ready to take the next step and become a premier pass rusher, and thank goodness for Uchenna Nwosu, because that guy's been balling out. And if we can get Taylor opposite him doing having a consistent pass rush, and Boye Mafe too. He got his first sack during the game, and he's looking promising. So we've got talent, and we've got enough talent to at least be in some of these games. It's just not all of it has shown up yet on Sundays.
Yeah, and I think that defense has played, to me, they played well enough to win. I know Lil Mo and I were upset in the second half because they were on the field for so long. They were getting winded. And that was a factor on the 27 points. But I think the defense is playing well enough to win. We just got to get more help from the offense. Matt, what are your thoughts? Hopefully something good out there.
Well, I still think Woods had another good game. I mean, that man is massive. That man is a big man moving. And he was impressive to me at times. But I still say, look, rookies are still making rookie penalties, and we expect that. They're rookies. That's what's going to happen. But the timing of some of those penalties, like illegal, ineligible men downfield, and DK making catches. I mean,
the one offensive play we made, and it comes right back.
Yep.
It was just heartbreaking. But rookies make rookie mistakes, and I have to at least accept that, because that's where we're at. I do think, though, we're sort of suffering a little bit of sort of deja vu here. We couldn't get a run established, so we spent the entire game trying to get a run established. And it gets to a point where I think even with Pete, you just have to say to him, mate, it's not happening. So let's just do something else. I thought, I like the idea of all the trick plays that they were trying to. I mean, they were terrible. DJ Dallas put him in the competition for quarterback if you want, but I don't think he's going to win. But I think, I also think that our offense was so sluggish and so behind the curve on every play, to my mind, that it just felt that we were never going to score. And I think if it wasn't for that block punt, we would have had a shutout. I don't believe, I do not believe our offense was in any way, shape, or form going to score anything in that game, full stop. I do think Geno is still holding on to that ball for such a long time. I know that there's great coverage out there, and we have to accept that too. But I do think he's got in his head this warning that Pete drums into him about not look after the ball, look after the ball, look after the ball, look after the ball, to such a degree that he doesn't trust himself to make those adjustments, those plays that need to happen if you're actually going to score a game. This was, to my mind, a shocking display of football at times. I still think the tackling is pretty awful. I think the secondary is still too far off the man. I also think that this whole idea of just trying to continually punch balls out rather than tackling by ankles and actually getting players down is something that we need to focus on. It's not about always trying to get a turnover on every single play. If it's available and it's there, and if they're holding the ball wrong, you should be able to spot that and you should be able to do that. But if they're holding it correctly, trying to arm tackling and trying to punch out footballs is not as effective as actually getting them down and preventing it down. So to my mind, there's a lot of things in there that need fixing. It was a shocking display of football, and I hope for better.
Yeah, me too.
Quick bit of trivia. Before that last drive, when the game was pretty much over, we were down 27-7. Before that, in the second half, our offense never advanced farther than our own 24-yard line.
You don't win games.
Not good.
You don't win games.
No, you're not going to win games doing that. Little Mo, we have a little deja vu here, because remember last year we played the Colts in the home opener, and the offense looked unstoppable, and it was going everywhere. We were all excited, and then it never looked that way again. And this year we play the Broncos. The offense looks like a well-oiled machine. We're like, oh my God, Geno might actually pull some games off this year. And then again, are we having deja vu here, Little Mo? I mean, did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I will say, a couple people that have been going to disappointment, people that have been disappointed this year, is some people from that Russell Wilson trade. Noah Fant as tight end hasn't done much.
Where is he?
Shelby Harris, now he's out for personal issues, but before that, he hasn't done much. We brought back Al Woods to stop the run. He hasn't really been stopping the run. So, our 2 touchdowns are from the 2 other tight ends, not Noah Fant. So I think, we got him in the Russ Wilson trade. Obviously, we got a lot more than just them, but those were the pieces, and I feel like we need to use them more.
Those are pieces that we thought would contribute right away.
Yeah.
On the team. I agree with you. And that whole 3 tight end thing we talked about last week, we're all excited. 3 tight ends, it didn't look like we did anything on offense, quite frankly. Nothing. I mean, it didn't look like anything. I mean, they tried trick plays. I know they tried some things, but I just feel like the week before looked like a well-oiled machine, and this looked like, I don't know, an old clunker,
some of those plays look like practice plays. They didn't even look like they're really in the zone at all. And I take Little Mo's point absolutely that some of these pieces aren't working yet. And I don't know. There's always a question: will they ever work? I mean, part of me wanted to put Locke in just because nothing else was happening on offense. Yeah. Nothing else was happening. So it's almost a case for me where I'm like, well, if nothing else is happening anyway, I've got nothing to lose if I swap out Gino, put in Locke and see what happens. Even with the 49ers having to change their entire game plan off the back of losing quarterback, who incidentally I hope gets fully well. And
absolutely.
Good Lord, nobody wants to see that ever.
Yeah, thoughts for Trey Lance.
Nothing was happening on our offense, so let's keep doing it for 4 quarters and see if anything changes. I mean, that to me is the definition of madness.
Yeah,
I would have put in Locke, I'd have put him back in those 3 tight end formations that they were doing, and just do something other than what the hell they were trying to do, which simply wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get to a point where we got to ask ourselves if Shane Waldron is really up to the job.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say that after last week or 2 weeks ago, but are we going to do this just one game a year? Like, it seems like they've had all offseason to prepare for that one game, and then he doesn't do anything else. I don't know. Little Mo?
I will say that for running back plays, I mean, it didn't work out, but if it was just a little bit more up, he was open. It just was a tail
to the back. If it had gone to the back of the end zone, it would have been better. That's where he wanted to put it.
It was an awful throw.
I don't know. I mean, it didn't work, obviously, but at that point, we had to try something. So.
Yeah, at least they were trying that, I guess. But I'm with you, Will. It seems like we came out the first game looking like an amazing offense, and then it's nothing the rest of the year. So this will be a real test. Now at home, I said, remember back in the Mike Holmgren days, the Seahawks at home and the Seahawks on the road were 2 completely different teams. So let's hope that at least we see that this week. It's going to be a real test on this team being home again against a team that they're favored against by 1.5 points. Can they ride that crowd into a better game than what they did last week on the road? And that might be the case. Being a young team, that might be the case.
That's a saving grace, though, is that we lost on the road, which is kind of what's supposed to happen. You're kind of supposed to win in your own stadium. So, in many ways, if that had been Lumen Field and we'd have lost 27-7 at Newman Field, then I would be in a very much different place.
Yes,
and I think the crowd would have been as well. But there's always opportunity. We've got more games to play. This could have just been a blip. Next week, this week coming, this Sunday. Let's see how we get on against the Dirty Birds from down south.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Anything else to add, Will? Lomo?
Flush it and get on to the next one.
Do it. All right. But before we do that, we have to check our posse prediction challenge. We'll do that right now at the 2-minute warning.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, 2-minute warning. Let's see how we did on a posse prediction challenge. Of course, the score was terrible, but Mark Ty Turner did have the Seahawks losing 23-13. That's actually pretty close. Closer than it should be. Prognostications, actually, we had 2. Chris Bally said the Seattle special teams will cause a turnover. That block kick certainly qualified. And Andy Lockett did have over 100 receiving yards. So 2 there. There are no game balls when you lose. So we're going to move on. The over-under was under. Everyone on Team 12 except for Jose got a point. And then Dustin, Will, Andy, and Statsman Mark over on Team Posse, which means our week 2 scores look like this. Mark Ty Turner and Andy had 2 points. Little Mo, Mike, Carrie, Jimmy, Dustin, Will, and Statsman Mark all got a point. Overall scores after 2 games, Mike with 9, Will, Mark, and Andy with 3, Little Mo, Jimmy, Dustin with 2, Jose, Carrie, Statsman Mark with 1, and there's still people missing from there, like, hi, how are you? Yeah, Matt too. Hey, Matt. Yeah, we actually are doing this. It just nothing happening for us. And as we go into week 3, the score has grown to Team 12, 20, Team Posse 10. They are doubling up on us. Lil Mo's celebrating down there. I see that little dance of celebration, young man.
It ain't over yet, kid.
Yeah, man. We're going to be dancing on you here in a minute, but that didn't sound right. Anyway.
No, not at all.
No, let's not do that.
Forget that ever happened.
Let's just go to halftime.
Demonetized.
It's halftime, bitches!
Yes, coming up, we have so much to talk about with the Falcon game coming up Sunday. But before we do all that, it's time to go to halftime in the best Seahawk themed trivia game on the internet. 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world?
of the world. And that is coming up right after this. Don't you go change it. Where are we going now?
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, welcome to America's favorite Seahawk-themed trivia game. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia of the world. The game that tests the knowledge of the posse and those watching the show. I'm not doing it anymore. All right. So here's how the game is played. The questions will be up on the screen for you all to see. But before we do that, we pick our questions. There are 2 questions, 1 question, and 2 rounds. You answer it right, you get a point. After that, there is a final question worth 2 points. And if there's a tie, there's a special top secret overtime question where the winner will be crowned champion of 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia episode 1010 of the world and of the world. Of course, the topic is about the Atlanta Falcons. So, Matt, since you're back, 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, that's thrown me off because Will won. 2, please.
2, please. Will, 1 or 3?
I'll take 1.
We'll take 1 and a little Mo.
I'm gonna go with 3, if that's okay.
Good call, Lil Mo.
Good choice.
It's the wrong answer.
All right, here we go. Okay, by the way, also you can also once per 2 rounds remove 1 wrong answer. Since we don't have Little Mo and Mosette anymore, we're going to just do it that way. You can remove 1 wrong answer. I know, Matt, that drives him crazy, but he shall overcome. Will, question 1 is for you. It's about the first time the Seahawks beat the Falcons. It was 1976. You remember that, Will?
No, I was minus 3 months at the time.
All right. How many turnovers did the Falcons have? 4, 5, or 6? Dance.
Given that we only won 2 games that year, I'm guessing it has to be fairly substantial. I'm going to say 5.
Well, that 4, 5, and 6, I think, are all fairly substantial, if you ask me.
Well, yes.
You said 5. No, I'm sorry, it was 6. They had 6 turnovers against us. And for the record, I believe Seattle had 4 in that game. So it was like quite an exciting game. Yeah. A lot of fun times in that game. Matt.
Yes.
The Atlanta football franchise was given their name Falcons by who? Who gave that name? Was it a high school teacher, the mayor's son, or the owner's son? Who said the Atlanta team should be the Falcons?
Good night, everyone. You have a
All
great
right.
evening, all.
See you later.
I'm
It's
out.
over.
I have
We're done.
no idea this nonsense. Well, look, it's not. I don't think it's going to be the mayor's son, because I don't know who the mayor was, and that doesn't strike me as being important enough to be able to come up with a name.
I believe his last name was Beauregard. Arthur Beauregard Jr. III.
The owner's son, that's a bit too cliche. Everyone expects that, you know.
Call them the
brilliant.
Falcons, father.
But we all know how clever high school teachers are. You know, and how tuned in they are to the world. So I'm going to go with the high school teacher.
You're going with a high school teacher. You know,
I respect teachers across the world.
I am a high school teacher. You know
Really?
that? Yeah. Educator.
Educator.
Yeah. And guess what? It is. It was a high school teacher.
Hey!
Gave me the idea for the Falcons. So there you go. Matt's on the board. Yay, Matt. Now,
Yay,
little Mo.
me.
Yay, you. All right, little Mo. Your question is this. In 2016, the Seahawks beat the Falcons in Seattle. How many times did we sack Matt Ryan? 4, 5, or 6?
I was at that game.
You were at that game. That was your
But
first game? No.
Yeah, no, it was my second game because the first game was against the Cowboys.
And we won. And Will, by the way, Will sent us a DVD recording of that game that we have kept in a keepsake, Will. So we thank you very much for that present.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
But that being said, I have no clue what the answer is.
Okay.
Oh, no.
4, 5, or 6. You can take one bad one away each round.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Positive.
No.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, go ahead.
And get rid of 6. It's either 4 or 5.
Okay. Let's go with 5.
Go 5. Sorry, it was 4. It was 4. So Matt, you have a point. Will and Little Mo do not. We go to round 2.
I hope I was supposed to make that noise, whatever you just did.
It was piece of paper. We're good. Matt, 4, 5, or 6.
Right, so I need to dodge the non-football question that's going to be in this round. It's probably going to be the same place as the last one. So I'm going to go 6.
Matt's going to go 6.
Dodge.
Will, 4 or 5?
Well, I guessed 5 last time and it was wrong. And Little Mo guessed 5 last time and it was wrong. So I'm going to say 5.
And Little Mo.
Oh, wrong again. Damn it.
Gets question 4. Are you ready?
No.
2005, year you were born. The Seahawks beat the Falcons in Seattle. I think that was my first win going out to Seattle. How many times did the Seahawks sack Michael Vick? 2, 3, or 4? And we can't take one away. You used it last time. 2, 3, or 4?
Let's go with 2.
Let's go with 2 because Michael Vick was kind of
Dog beater.
He did beat dogs, yes. Go with 2, and the answer. We got him 3 times in that game. 3 times, yeah.
I don't like Michael Vick. It's okay.
That's all right. No one remembers that.
That game was the last time I tried the bratwurst at the stadium.
Is it really?
He's still paying for it now.
He's still feeling it.
I bit into it. I heard a crunching sound. It's like,
Nope.
Oh!
Nope.
If I remember right, because I did go to that game, the Seahawks opened up with a big lead, and then like the Falcons came back, and we had to stop them on a 4th down to win it.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But it was a win, so I'll take it. Will, your question is about the Blue Falcon. You remember the Blue Falcon?
Yes.
I know.
Okay. Well, the Blue Falcon he owned a pet. What was the name of the Blue Falcon's pet? Was it Dino Cat, Dino Dog, or Dino Mutt? The Blue Falcon.
It's obvious.
I should put a picture up.
So pleased I didn't get this question.
Moses, take away an answer.
I'm going to take away Dino Cat. It's either Dino Dog or Dino Mutt.
Dino Mutt just sounds better. It's like Dino Mutt. I'm gonna go with that one.
That's really sad the way you said that. But
Yes, I know.
You're going with Dino Mutt?
Yep.
Yes! Dino Mutt. Half mutt, half robot. Don't ask.
Don't ask any more questions.
Blue Falcon, DC or Marvel?
Oh, I don't know. It was Hanna-Barbera is what it was. It was just a cheap Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Okay. Matt, it's 1-1 to 0. So, Matt, here's your question. In 1985, the Seahawks beat the Falcons in Seattle. How many touchdown passes did Dave Krieg throw in that game? 2, 3, or 4?
Preoccupied. 1985.
Can you take away one of the wrong answers, please?
No.
Yes, it's either 3 or 4.
Then I would say 3.
4.
I say 3.
Is that 3?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Sorry?
Is that your final answer?
It is my final answer, yeah.
So it's wrong. 4. Yeah. So, Will and Matt got a point. Lil Mo got no point.
How many?
We ain't got to worry because it's time for the final question. Now it's time for the final question. Yeah. All right.
Encore.
Final question. Closest without going over.
Don't encourage.
I know. No encore. All right. Closest
All right.
without going over gets the 2 points and becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show champion. The order will go Little Mo first, and then Matt second, and then Will third. And it is a number. If you're all over, whoever's closest to the number will get the 2 points. And here is your final question, starting with Little Mo. Little Mo, 2017 playoff game against the Falcons. How many total yards of offense did the Seahawks have in that game? They lost, but how many total yards of offense did they have in that game? That's not the first time they played. That's the second time. When Hester had that great return and it got called back for a penalty, we never recovered.
But we scored a lot of points in that game.
20-36 off the top of my head is what I want to say, but I'm not sure.
That's okay. Wait. Oh, God. Okay. If I do my calculations correct in my head.
Okay, it's 3 divided by pi. What's your grade in math this year?
In the Hangover.
I don't know. I have A's and B's and everything. I don't know which one.
Listen to that. Yeah? A's and B's and everything, y'all.
Prove it.
Prove it right
They
now.
always confuse me when they say A's and B's in math. It just gets me. It's like algebra all over again.
I'm gonna go with 2. Wait, no. Let's go 306.
306. Matt.
Let's go. I was going to say 300, so I might stick to that. Oh, it only gives me 6. It only gives me 6 to play with, and that annoys me. But I was
Only having 6 to play with always annoys Matt.
I know. Well, I was going to say 300 originally. I'm going to stick to that 300. It only gives me 6 to play with.
306. Will.
Quit.
I'll give Little Mo a little bit of a cushion. How about 331?
331. 306, 300, and 331. The total amount of yards offense the Seahawks had in that playoff game in 2017. 309. Little Mo knows his math, y'all.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? A's and B's. That's your plus scores, I guess, in your O levels or whatever the hell it is in England. Yeah. Look at Little Mo. Congratulations, Little Mo. 2 out of 3, my man.
I'm the best. I'm the new Matt right here.
We are not
You're
in
the
the
new
new Matt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I hope you do better than I've done. That's not living up to much, believe me.
We are not in the same room, and he does not see these. I swear. There's no conspiracy here. All right, I want that.
Will get
cleared.
the conspiracy theory.
Yeah, get the. Yeah, all right. Stop shoveling, Will. This has been
here.
It's been another mind-numbing, jaw-dropping, victorious Little Mo edition of your 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world.
of the world. Coming up next, let's talk about the Falcon game. We got a sermon, we got injury report, we got weather, we got fashion, we got numbers from even Statsman Mark from beyond. And that will come up right after this.
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
If there's a better use for the internet, I haven't found it.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter!
Yes, welcome to the second half of your episode 1010 Falcon edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. As you can see, the Falcons are coming to Seattle Sunday at a 4:25 Eastern Standard Time kickoff, 1:25 out west, and Matt in England.
9:25 p.m.
9:25 p.m. So hopefully it will be worth staying up for, Matt. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Before we move on, as you know, Statsman Mark is not with us this evening, but we do have Brick's picks. He did send them in. He had the Cards, the underdog. He's taking the 3.5 points, whoever they're playing. The Chiefs, 5.5 underdogs. He's taking them, and he's over and under pick. He picks the 49ers and Broncos to go over 45 points. So he wants to brag that he's currently 2-4 going into week 3. He was 2-1 week 1. He was 0-3 last week. So we'll see how he does. But enough of that. It is time to go to one of my favorite parts of the show, where we talk about the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Usually with Dr. Dustin, but this week it's with what did we say Will was going to be?
Nurse
Dr. Will.
Dr. Will. Oh, Dr. Will.
Ah.
Dr. Will. If you watch Big Brother, you know who Dr. Will is. Will, 12-man Fan Jam Show injury report. What you got, my friend?
I don't watch Big Brother, but that's okay.
That's all right. He's very good, so you would like its compliment.
Okay. Well, starting with the Falcons, they don't have all that much. Cornerback Darren Hall was missing a few practices this week, but was full go on Friday and is not on the injury report. They only have one player who is. That's left guard Elijah Wilkinson, who is out for non-injury reasons. So don't really know what's going on there.
We didn't want to go to Seattle.
Well, yeah. Moving over to the Seahawks, Quandre Diggs is questionable with a knee injury, but he practiced in full on Friday, and Pete Carroll said he was going to play.
That's scary.
Justin Coleman and Joey Blunt are doubtful with a calf injury and a hamstring injury. Carroll said Coleman would not play on Sunday, so Kobe Bryant will get the primary nickelback role again.
Okay.
Look at this photograph. And out is Shelby Harris, got a glute injury and is also out on a personal matter, which nobody has disclosed. So
is the glute not your buttocks? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Right in the buttocks.
Right in the buttocks.
Miles Adams, who did so well in the preseason, will be starting, playing. I don't know if he's starting, but he will be on the active roster for the game in Harris' absence.
Nice. Nicely done. All right. Good stuff. Hopefully, relevantly healthy. Of course, it's only third weekend, but Quandre Diggs, we got to watch that because without having Adams, Quandre Diggs is kind of it for the back of our secondary. So if he starts getting banged up, that could be a problem. But thank you, Will, for that. And now we turn to the weather by talking to someone from another country. That's Matt from Airfield, England, with the 12-man Fan Jam Show weather and fashion report. Oh, Matt.
Yes, thank you, Moses. So we're back at Lumen Field this week, hosting the Atlanta Falcons. And as this is my first official weather and fashion report of the season, I wanted the forecast to be super accurate and reliable. So I asked my good friend Earl. Now, you remember my friend Earl?
Oh, yes.
Well, he told me that he is now working for some big wig in a place called Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. Now, he wouldn't tell me who this big wig was, but he said he could get his hands on the very latest top secret weather reports from your government's army. Oh. Now, I didn't want to ask too many questions, but I did ask whether this information was confidential, and he said to me that the owner of these documents had assured him that he could apparently disclassify them just by thinking it. So I guess this info is absolutely fine.
Who knew?
The weather for Sunday will be partly cloudy with temperatures of around 71 degrees Biden, or as the rest of us in the modern world say, 21 degrees centigrade.
71 degrees Biden. I like it.
It could, well, I have to change it every time you guys change president.
I know. Well, we can't have 70 years like you.
Who knows who it's going to be next? It could be anyone. It should remain dry throughout the game with light winds from the north. So that's your weather. Now, what to wear for this game? Well, as we're playing host to the folks from Atlanta, the birthplace of your country's civil rights movement, why not go dressed as one of those civil rights champions, Malcolm X, or maybe even Martin Luther King himself, where you can stand proudly and claim that you too have a dream, that one day our secondary will not play so far off a man that the tackle happens in a different time zone. Or why not pay respects to Atlanta native Steve Harvey by periodically announcing the wrong winners of games across the NFL like he did with Miss Universe that one time? But as for me, if I was going to go to this game, well, there really is only one outfit for me. That's right, I would go dressed as Scarlett O'Hara from Margaret Mitchell's classic novel Gone with the Wind,
of course you would.
Which is kind of set in and around Atlanta. And dressed in full bonnet and skirts, I would look out over the field and give her most famous quote, "Death, taxes, childbirth, and false start penalties. There's never a convenient time for any of them." With all that being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. So, Moses, it's back over to you.
And someone will turn to you and say, quite frankly, Matt, I don't give a damn.
But
yeah. I don't give a damn. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. And now, please be upstanding and welcome our very own Reverend Moses from the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity for his sermon for this upcoming game. Oh, Reverend.
Yes, it is I, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church Seahawk Positivity. How is everyone this evening?
Doing well, Reverend. Doing well.
Oh, man, welcome back. It's welcome
Thank you
back.
very much.
You got that queen finally in the ground and you can move on with your life. I'm so happy for you.
And he took
God
12
love
days.
you. It's good to see everyone. Now, I guess all good things must come to an end. I just did not expect it to end so damn soon this season. It was really sad. That game was more disappointing than a Joe Biden bike-a-thon, but we'll talk about that later. Now, my church organist, Cleolanda Hawk, started pounding the Everclear right after that interception thrown by DJ Dallas. We all know the one. She hasn't stopped drinking yet. I just lock her in the wine cellar and pray for her to run out of wine. That's all I can do right now. Friends, so glad to once again be here as we try to rise up from a bitter and ugly defeat. But even where there are small bumps on the road to the promised land, and there will be, we continue to move towards that promised land and we rise, basking in the warm glow that is Seahawk positivity, reading from the book of Seahawk Positivity, chapter 3, verses 7 to 12. And it says, for as we return broken and defeated, there is no failure in our vocabulary. We rise up and learn from those defeats to be bigger, stronger, faster than ever. And so when the blackbirds of prey from the land of peaches do descend upon our land, we shall not fear them, nor shall we fear the loss of my voice, apparently. We shall truly rise up to meet them, and we shall send them back to Georgia broken and grounded. That is the word of Seahawk positivity, my friends. Do you feel the power? Do you feel the power of Seahawk positivity flowing through you? Can you feel it? If you can believe in the power to give our defense the ability to make the offense be more upset than the devil when he went down to Georgia. Let's hear an amen, guys, aloud.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes, and if you believe in that power to give our offense the ability to score more than Jimmy Carter at a peach pick spin contest. Let's hear an amen, nice and loud.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, he's old, but he still gets the chicks, my friends. All right, that is the power, my brother. We are loud and proud. Ain't no Falcon way. Atlanta's going to swoop into Seattle and get a win. Oh, they're going to be dirty birds, all right. Dirty birds and broken birds and beaten birds from the ATL. You know what ATL stands for. It don't stand for Atlanta. It stands for another terrible loss. And that's what's going to happen to them Sunday, my friends. You get ready for that. This has been your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity. Go forth, my brother. Go forth and spread. Spread the good word of Seahawk Positivity. Praise Largen. Praise Cortez County, praise Walter Jones, praise Kenny Eastley, and as always, go Hawks. We'll be back with the fourth quarter, our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for that game between your Seahawks and the Falcons right after this.
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production. It's the fourth quarter, bitches.
Yes, welcome to the fourth and final quarter of episode 1010, the Falcon edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. This is where we take everything together and we talk about that game. Seattle favored by 1.5 points, the over-under at 41.5 for our purposes only. 4:25 Eastern Standard Time, 1:25 on the West Coast, and 9:25 p.m. in England. And otherwise, check your local listings. On Sunday, it's time for our predictions. Jose says, we'll start with Jose and we'll come back to Little Mo at the end. Jose says 26-23 prognostication. DK scores his first touchdown, game ball to DK. Mike Pascal says a tale of two Genos. Let's hope we get Geno Jekyll so we don't have to hide.
Oh, that's good.
Seahawks win 23, Falcons 20, game ball to Penny. Myers misses 3 field goals. Interesting.
Wow.
Mark Ty Turner. Hawks win, Hawks 9, Falcons 6, game ball to Dickinson after the game. Everyone will be wondering if the Hawks ever won a game 9-6 at home or on the road. Yes. Carey, Seahawks 20, Atlanta 17. Rashad Penny gets over 60 yards rushing. He's going to have a big game at some point. This could be it with a middling Falcons pass rush. My game ball stays with Lockett. He was great last week. I don't expect that to change. He and Geno are clicking. Jimmy, I don't buy the Geno thing at all, but I think the Hawks win this thing with the running game. Atlanta's no pushover, but I see us winning 24-17. Prognostication because he is due Darrell Taylor with sack. Game ball to Penny. Becky, 26-13 Seahawks. Lockett game ball. Lockett touchdown. And now, Little Mo for your team. What you got?
All right, I'm going to go 24-17 Seahawks.
All right.
I said this last week. I'm going to say it this week. Penny is going to be my game ball because eventually he's going to do something, hopefully.
We hope.
I will just keep giving it to him and he won't do anything.
Our game balls have become, please do something.
Just do something.
Yeah.
Does that mean with the stick?
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah, and
Look
I'm
at the
going to
player.
say 2 rushing touchdowns for Rashad Penny. Oh, 2
Ooh,
touchdowns. 2 touchdowns.
2 TDs for Penny. All
Cool.
right. Let's hope that's true. All right. Now, Statsman Mark did give me his prediction as well. I have to check it here in a moment. Give me just a moment for team posse. Seattle Seahawks win 27-26. Seattle interceptions by 2 interceptions on Mariota and gave all to Kobe Bryant. I hope he knows Kobe's not going to go off for 80 points in this game, but it's a different Kobe. Chris Balding, Seahawks 23, Falcons 21. Prognostication, Myers hits a 50-yard plus field goal. Game ball to Walker. Andy says, I don't know. 35-28 Seattle. Game ball to DK. Defense scores a touchdown. Will, what you got for us?
Well, for the first time this season, Jimmy and I do not have the exact same score.
Yay!
And I tell you what, this is the kind of game. If we lose this game, it's going to be a rough go for a while because this is the team we should beat at home.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think we will. How about Seahawks 27, Falcons 20?
Good.
For my prognostication, I'm guessing Tariq Woolen gets his first interception.
Nice.
And my game ball goes to one of the 2 guys that we need to see step up, Jordan Brooks.
Yes, we definitely need to see that. I hope he does. Matt from Mariota, England. Hello.
Hello.
What you got for us, sir? Great to see you again. It's been a long time, my friend.
It has. It's great to be
Yeah,
back. Thanks very much. I think this is going to be one of those weird games. I'm going to go Seahawks 19, Falcons 17.
Ooh.
I'm kind of in the same zone as Lil Mo here. I'm going to go Penny as well. The dude needs to do something. They spend all game trying to establish the run. He may as well do something. And my prognostication, I think, as I said right before this we aired, I think there's going to be a safety in this game. I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know who. I don't know how. But I'm feeling. My prognostication, there's a safety in this game.
There will be a safety in this game. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Hopefully, that's the margin of victory there.
Yeah. Yes.
We hope.
I just noticed. Yeah.
My turn. Well, last week reality slapped 12s in the face like a Chris Rock ball joke, didn't it? Yeah. Seahawk fans haven't been this disappointed since Malik McDowell got on a 4x4.
Too soon. Too soon.
But like that terrible accident, we have to move on from this terrible accident, which was last week's game. The Falcons coming to Seattle led on offense by quarterback Marcus Mariota, which sounds like a fruity drink you get at a tiki bar. Waiter, we'll have 3 strawberry margaritas and a Marcus Mariota, heavy on the vermouth, please. The offense is nicknamed the Millennium Falcon because it takes a millennium for them to score. Defensively, too soon. The Falcons defensively are going to have 27 and 31 points in their first 2 games, earning their nickname instead of the bend but not break defense. It's the bend and break defense. Atlanta head coach Arthur Smith's father, by the way, is FedEx's founder and CEO Frederick Smith, which means he's filthy rich. That's appropriate, as many Falcon fans often feel like Tom Hanks when he climbed into FedEx plane in the movie Castaway. And we all know what happened there. I mean, you're going to survive, okay, but not year after years of pain and loneliness, especially around playoff time. Meanwhile, your girl marries a Rams fan and you're left wondering where you went wrong, right? Just like Tom Hanks in Castaway. But I digress. The Falcons have played 2 close games, including a poor imitation of their Super Bowl debacle, in which this time they fell behind 28-3 before making a game of it, only to once again lose. So they're ready for revenge and they're ready to get their first win. But not this week. Watch the Seahawks force not 1, not 2, 3 turnovers. That's my prognostication. Watch my game ball, Tyler Lockett, catch more balls than a hooker in Times Square. Oh, Atlanta. You stayed out west this week because you were preparing for us. But it's time to kick your sorry bird's butt back to Georgia as the Seahawks win by a score of Seahawks 30, Falcons 20. Book it.
So booked.
That's it. It's done.
Amazing.
Amazing. And also amazing was this wonderful show, and we have to bring it to a sad close. I hope you all learned something and you had a good laugh along the way as we did. I want to thank everyone for listening on behalf of Statsman Mark, wherever he may be, Dustin, wherever he may be, Little Mo, Will, Matt from Merry Old England, everyone on the Posse Prediction Challenge, and of course, Cleolanda Hawk, who is somewhere buried in a wine cellar. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church Seahawk Positivity saying, until next week, as always, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Ain't no Falcon way they're going to win.